Nobody wants to be called a fool or thought to be one. You know, I looked it up in a dictionary. I wanted to know what the exact words were for what a fool meant. And I found this very intriguing definition. And what they say is a person who you think behaves or speaks in a way that lacks intelligence or good judgment. So it's what you think. Now that's different, because now we're talking about perspective when it comes to what's a fool. Can someone's opinion of you determine your worth? So growing up as a church kid, I've heard so many Bible stories of all kinds of miracles that completely defied logic, but made complete spiritual sense because of all of this power that they're talking about exists. It's all knowing, it's all encompassing, this energy of God. So Noah looked like a major idiot, building an ark, and everyone pitied him. Just imagine what they might have been saying about him. There's nobody on the outside that was going to be able to be like, I see you, man, you keep going. There was nobody doing that. There was no likes, there was no subscribers, there was no Patreon patrons, there was nothing to even give him the clue that he ain't crazy. Thinking about that, he is a faithful fool. He is both of those things. He is being faithful and he is being seen as a fool. But was he though? Clearly not. We know how the story ends, but there's no way of knowing the ending when you're in the present moment. I mentioned Noah because being a fool is only a negative if you aren't tapped into the connection between the spiritual plane and the earthly one. In tarot, okay, don't leave yet. Don't leave. I know I just finished talking about the Bible. I know. Stay with me. just hear me out. So in tarot, the Fool card represents this scenario for me. I am about to do something that defies logic but makes perfect spiritual sense. And there's different ways still within that that's so broad and so varied. So what I did was I grabbed almost all of my tarot decks that I have, and I decided to look at all of them because at the end of the day, these cards were illustrated by somebody who had a particular idea in mind. And that to me represents a type of person that exists as a fool. Are you with me? I hope you are. I'm going to show you 4 different Fool cards. So take a deep breath. I want you to connect to which one at first sight resonates with you. And then take note of that card, because after I summarize the theme that card carries, I will be sharing a reading, diving into the ways in which you are, you feel, and you need to be supported whenever you are starting a new project or chapter of your life. This first one is from the In-Between Tarot deck. Next is the Cosmic Cycle Tarot deck. And here we have the Herb Crafters Tarot deck. And finally, the Psychic Tarot for the Heart deck. So looking at the In-Between Tarot Fool, there's 3 things I want to point out to you. Is at the edge of the cliff, there are flowers growing there. There's actual life growing there. We push ourselves to the edge of our boundaries of our comfort zone, we are going to be able to grow. He is flying over mountains, and mountains are very rocky terrain and require certain special tools in order to ascend them. When we take a leap, we have to literally fly above the bullshit. We have to rise above all of the distractions, all of the trauma, all of the things that are really difficult in order to be successful. You have to be apart from them and not dwelling within it and feeling stuck behind it. In addition, I also want to point out the fact that he's no longer holding the bindle. The bindle is what you typically will see with the Fool card, is essentially the belongings of whoever the person, the traveler, is. This particular Fool decided to let go of it, and that reminds me of the type of person who might be willing and ready to let go of everything that does not serve them, and they realize that it's just weighing them down and slowing them down. He's about to take off the blindfold, and to me the blindfold is probably what he needed in order to just take off in the first place. A lot of the times we think we need to see and understand every last thing before we make a decision. Sometimes we need to just close our eyes or purposely hold back from looking with our eyes so that we can make the leap of things that seem very scary and very impossible. The way in which you are supported, you've got Page of Wands. You've graduated from a space of not knowing to knowing better. There is information within you now that you've acquired, likely through reading, watching, learning, studying. And this is the source of support for you. Even if you don't think it's enough information, it is. The way you feel supported, you've got Six of Cups. You feel most supported when you have a connection with someone that you know has your back. It could be someone that is a close platonic relationship, such as a sibling, or could also be someone who you are partnered with romantically. It is important to you to know that they're your ride or die. The us against the world energy makes you feel powerful and protected. That they're willing to do things with and for you, no matter the consequences. The way you need to feel supported in this moment of your life, you've got King of Wands. Seeing the fruits of your effort, knowing that all your energy is going into something that will build your legacy is the way you need to feel supported right now. Being acknowledged would go a long way towards moving forward in your current cycle as a Fool in whatever is new for you right now. A cosmic cycle Fool. I actually really like this Fool card. First of all, homegirl is running through the airport with a potted plant, not a bouquet of flowers. And the first thing I thought of was that this is something that she has taken the time to nurture and grow, and she definitely wants to take it with her. This house plant is very grounding for her. And if you look even closer at the very bottom of the pot, you will see these roots sticking out, and that reminds me that this type of Fool feels trapped. This plant is clearly root bound, and what happens is the roots are looking for a new place. It needs a place to expand. She's looking to expand. She's looking to get out of her trap. This is a Fool that will take opportunities to just run towards what they think is going to help them. And if you pay attention to the caution sign at the very bottom, this is also the type of Fool that could really benefit from taking a few deep breaths before making a decision. A lot of the times they're rushing and they're ready to move forward. They're excited, they're passionate about it, but they might make decisions that aren't in their best interest, or that can really slip them up or trip them up later because they really did not pay close enough attention. What you're doing is taking a breath so that you are 100% sure that you've noticed any possible obstacles in your way, so you know how to traverse them, because you bet your ass there's going to be some sort of obstacle. There's going to be something that comes up. But if you are aware of it at the onset, then you know how to go around it. You know how to navigate it. One of the things that you need to be concerned about, if this is the type of Fool that really resonates with you, is that you can't carry everything with you, and if you do try, you're gonna lose some stuff along the way, and you have to be okay with that. I don't think this Fool cares that she's lost a pair of socks. She might realize it later on and miss it, but at the end of the day, you are securing what really matters to you. And don't forget to really secure the things that really matter to you, so you don't lose it on your way to your next chapter, your next destination. The way in which you are supported, you've got Five of Swords. You're no stranger to hard feelings, losing, missing out, or your best not always being enough. There is a strong sense of tenacity and purpose in your spirit. There are things you've been through that's not for the faint of heart, and each disappointment leads you to ways of finding strength you never knew you had. The way you feel supported, you've got Three of Wands. Nature really fuels you. Spending time exploring new places, spaces, and making discoveries along the way really make you feel supported, because most of the time these trips are totally impromptu. You go with your instinct and feel held by spirit every step of the way. The way you need to feel supported in this moment of your life, you've got Eight of Wands. Sometimes you grow bored of the day in and day out, and a new exciting experience has been calling you. You're looking for permission to do it. The thrill of not knowing is calling you. The excitement of feeling close to the edge of no return is calling you. You're looking for people to share this with, perhaps people with more experience, so that you could learn and embrace higher levels of the awakening that you've been flirting with. The Herb Crafter's Fool has absolutely no human beings pictured, but clearly there's been a human here. Dandelions are considered like a weed for a lot of people. It is such a magical plant when you really think about the cycle of a dandelion, where you're able to see the literal seeds be released into the atmosphere and just float along to its next destination. This type of fool is someone who is needing to come to grips with how they were raised versus how they're raising themselves now. That maybe there are things that happened in your childhood that really changed how you feel about things and maybe made you jaded, maybe made you feel afraid to try things. This is the type of fool who's needing to work on that. Maybe you're going to therapy, maybe you're thinking about going to therapy. This would be that fool. Also, you'll see this butterfly at the very top. And the thing about a butterfly in a chrysalis, it does not take a very long time for a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly. It's not years long. It's not long at all. It's the type of energy of knowing exactly what you want and going for it and focusing on that you want to change. And so you know exactly what you need to do, and you're going to go through the painful process that it is in order to change. And then the very last thing I want to point out, at the very bottom is a satchel. What this type of fool wants is to be able to heal themselves enough where that they can carry the stuff that's happened with them in a small satchel. It's not going to be too heavy. It's not going to stop them from fulfilling their goals and their destiny, but they want to be able to have it under control enough that they can carry it with them and say, yeah, this is when I was hurt. This is a childhood trauma that I had experienced, but I've really come to grips with it. And now it's small that it can hold into my pouch. I don't have to carry it on my back. It's not heavy. I'm not bag ladying this stuff, like Erykah Badu. I'm not dealing with it in that way. I am completely healed from the trauma that I experienced as a child, and I can move forward in a whole sort of way. This card is very calming, it's very hopeful, it's very much heart chakra energy, it's very much about healing, and definitely healing the inner child wounds that you might have experienced. That would be what this fool is all about. The way in which you are supported, you've got the sun. It's always been about you. The thing is, when we are children, we don't honestly realize that the world revolves around us. We often feel overlooked, misunderstood, treated poorly, and in some cases, the lives of children are no fairy tale. However, you are still the main character. This is your story. You're the protagonist and the antagonist. The way you feel supported, you've got 8 of Earth. Although the root cause of many of your challenges stem from situations out of your control, you can feel supported knowing that the stains of trauma in your past can color your world in new, vivid ways. But first, you have to dig them up and break them down so they will release the beauty buried within. The way you need to feel supported in this moment of your life, you've got justice. It wasn't fair. It made things harder than they needed to be. It took so much joy away from your life at the time. It's not your fault. You did the best you could do. You have tried so hard. You are worthy. You are beautiful. You are enough. You deserve the chance to be everything you've always dreamed and visioned you could be. Justice is telling you it's time to cut away what weighs you down. It's time to level the scales so that you can feel supported. At this point, you are the only one who can. The Psychic Tarot for the Heart Fool is literally in this listening feeling mode, that they're going with the flow. This is a person that I believe is completely connected to their spiritual life. It is not an aesthetic for them. It is not something that they learned through Instagram. This is definitely someone who probably was raised in a particular way, probably have family, probably have a family history of belief, of understanding a higher power and having this experience. I want to point out her belt. This type of fool lives a very interconnected life. Spirituality is not separate for them. It is a part of their life and is interwoven with all their actions, all their thoughts, all their behaviors. Then around them, you see these swirls of light. To me, that feels like the different voices that maybe she had to ignore in order to move forward, the different ideas that she had to like go past in order to move forward. And it also reminds me of the guidance that she might be getting as she moves forward, the light that she might be getting, the clues, the intuitive hits that she might be getting as she takes the leap forward. And this is the type of fool that feels very secure by their connection to spirit and to God. They're not afraid to make decisions that might seem really out there to other people. They're completely in tune with this energy that is beyond this world. The way in which you are supported, you've got refusing to see. A part of what has helped you thus far is that you know not to always believe what you see with your eyes or what you're always told. You strive to seek the deeper truth and meaning, and you recognize that often these moments are buried deep within what meets the eye. Much of how you interpret the world around you is through feeling, and then it's processed in the mind. The way you feel supported, you've got sacral chakra. You may or may not know this, but our intuition actually starts in our sacral chakra, not simply in the third eye. In the sacral, our intuitional foundation is created. A balanced sacral chakra is evident in one's ability to express themselves creatively, sexually, emotionally. You feel supported when you're surrounded by your own creative endeavors, and wherever and whenever you have the space to demonstrate all the ways in which you feel whole. The way you need to feel supported in this moment of your life, you've got rest and reconsider. Perhaps you have already felt the need to rest and recuperate. Perhaps you haven't. This message is very clear that you have exhausted yourself and may even feel as though you have run out of options. Spirit is saying, take a moment. Don't time it. Don't rush it. Just really allow yourself to be still so you can hear better, so you can see better. And when the next steps are clearly in front of you, that is when you will know it's time to continue.